Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the $100 Man, CD Horver. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Super News. I'm Ollie Davis. Please press the thumbs up button and give us a subscribe to help this channel grow. I think that's everything I need to plug at the start of these videos. And buy our merch, it's really high quality and cool looking. I'll tell you what's also cool. John Morrison returning to WWE. CM Punk's return to WWE. Yes, it's happened. Oh no, wait. Well, John. PW Insider first reported that Johnny Nitro, Mundo, Impact, Morrison, birthdays, weddings and bar mitzvahs had signed a deal to return to WWE all the way back on the 26th of September, which he jokingly denied on Twitter with the tweet, "Thanks for the heads up, PW Insider. Please let me know when I'm signed with AEW or ROH." And now, just 2 months later, with their finger always on the pulse, and definitely a vision independent of Vince McMahon's, WWE Backstage is now reporting that very same news. In Ryan Satin's Now Weekly, Look Who WWE have offered loads of money to agree a 5-year deal segment, the Pro Wrestling Sheet reporter revealed that Morrison has signed a deal to return to the company and he's ready to go, but he's waiting for the creative team to come up for something for him, which could be a return at next Sunday's TLC pay-per-view, or probably more likely, a spot in January's Royal Rumble match. The official WWE article announcement described the agreement as a multi-year contract. Is there any other kind these days? Morrison first came up in WWE by winning Season 3 of their reality talent show Tough Enough, aka Naughty's NXT. He first debuted in the promotion with the name Johnny Nitro, which changed to John Morrison when he won the vacant ECW World title in 2007. He would go on to win the Intercontinental Championship 3 times and end up a 4-time tag team champion, not to mention 2 Slammy Awards, before he decided not to renew his contract in 2011. Morrison said on the Stone Cold podcast several years later he left because he wanted to heal up and wanted more control over his time to pursue other projects like acting and comedy. But reports and rumors said his relationship with WWE manager and wrestler Melina was also a factor, who was apparently very difficult behind the scenes, and her backstage heat rubbed off on John. This all peaked at WrestleMania 27, where Morrison teamed with Jersey Shore's Snooki and Trish Stratus against the heel team of Dolph Ziggler, Michelle McCool and Layla. Morrison was reportedly very upset that Trish, a returning WWE legend, got the spot over Melina and refused to celebrate with Stratus after winning the eventual match, which Trish publicly buried on Busted Open Radio shortly after. There are also more salacious claims from former WWE creative team member John Pierre-Marini that Vince McMahon believed Morrison can't kick anyone's ass in a real fight. As rumors claim, John allowed Melina to engage in a sexual relationship with Dave Bautista while the two were still dating, which Vince took as a sign of weakness, potentially informing multiple cuckold storylines on Raw a decade later. Since then, however, Morrison has become a fixture in the non-WWE wrestling world, often changing his last name to the promotion he's wrestling for. He won the Lucha Underground Championship and multiple titles in AAA as Johnny Mundo, and was the Impact World Champion as Johnny Impact until April this year. And because this wouldn't be a post-WWE Backstage episode of the WrestleTalk News without it, yes, somehow this story ties into CM Punk return confirmed. Celebrating his WWE return news, Morrison tweeted, "Confirmed tick emoji. I have signed with WWE. I've never been as good at anything as I am at wrestling, and I can't wait to stand again in a WWE ring opposite the most talented people in the business," which had a certain CM Punk lurking in the replies to tweet back, "Dude, Will Ospreay is in New Japan," which is most likely a reference to Ospreay's Twitter spat with Seth Rollins earlier this year, where the purveyor of Rah-Rah posted about WWE having the best pro wrestling on the planet, and find anyone else alive who does what I do as well as I do as often as I do it, you can't. To which Ospreay pointed out, "I'm alive," prompting Rollins to start sowing heel turn seeds by boasting about how much money he's making. E-scooters aren't cheap. Morrison replied to Punk's Ospreay comment with multiple crying with laughter face emojis, and Ospreay himself posted, "I'm blushing right now." Wait a second. The first ever WrestleTalk scholarship winner was Callum Newman, who was Will Ospreay's young boy, who CM Punk has now tweeted about. CM Punk and Ollie Davis best friends confirmed, so you better believe I'm gonna tweet him. This week I tweeted CM Punk. Again, because We're best friends and it's good to keep a dialogue open. Hey CM Punk, heart emoji. Saw your Osprey tweet, it made me lola, haha. Funny stuff, man. Can't wait to see you on WWE Bite This again next week. Anyway, there's a really nice farmer's market down my road this Sunday. Meet at 9 a.m. for festive frappuccinos. Please retweet, much love, OD Kiss. With a picture of one of the farmer's markets from last month. You like them apples? Because there's plenty of them there. It's a farmer's market. And they're straight edge. Always important to observe a guiding lifestyle set of principles. Please reply. Punk wasn't on last night's WWE Backstage because he's only an occasional contributor to the show, something that the episode's featured guest, Seth Rollins, was only too keen to point out. Rollins told Renee Young about the missing Punk, "I'm here, he's not here, and I'm not shocked about that. I think I've exhausted all of my energy on the subject. I just don't think it's going anywhere. I'm not shocked that he's not here, so I think it's time to maybe move on to something that matters. I wish he was here. I wish we could have a face-to-face, but it's not in the cards." Vince McMahon was reportedly very unhappy with Seth addressing the Chicago chants for CM Punk on last week's episode of Raw, apparently fuming backstage while producing the segment. The reason was said to be because Vince hates anything that could build to a match that might not happen, because WWE's own TV booking and advertising never do that, like when Brock Lesnar and Steve Austin teased a feud back on their Stone Cold WWE Network interview. Seth comments on backstage might be a way to quell the budding feud to appease his boss. If that's the case, someone should probably tell Punk, as he's still making fun of Seth tweeting, "High five emoji, no cornballs allowed," about his advertised appearance on next week's episode. But Rollins isn't the only feud Punk is potentially building, as he also shot on Hulk Hogan in an interview with Windy City Live.
Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Rowdy Roddy Piper, hands down.
I thought you were gonna say Hogan, man. Everybody loved Hogan.
No, I wasn't a Hogan guy.
You've met him though now.
I've met him, and like him even less now.
You're crushing my childhood dreams.
Him.
And Punk wasn't the only wrestling act shooting from the hip, as AEW's latest Dynamite commercial takes some serious shots at NXT. During last night's Los Angeles Clippers vs Portland Trail Blazers sports ball game on TNT, the same network that airs AEW, the channel aired a new commercial for Dynamite. Kind of like a movie trailer, the 30-second advert is peppered with favorable reviews of the show, like AEW delivered on its promises from the New York Post. It's just 3 of those 4 quotes directly compare it to NXT. AEW Dynamite crushes NXT from Comic Book. AEW Dynamite trounces NXT from Forbes. And AEW Dynamite buries NXT from The Wrap. The quotes are rather disingenuous, as the out-of-context lines implies their reviews talking about the show's quality, opposed to them actually all being news articles about the first week of ratings, where the debut episode of Dynamite drew 1.4 million viewers compared to NXT's 891,000 in their first head-to-head battle. The story, of course, has drastically changed in the months since that first week, with NXT now having beaten Dynamite in the ratings for the last 2 episodes, largely thanks to NXT's involvement in the main roster pay-per-view Survivor Series. It's important to note that TNT's in-house promo team likely made this commercial, not AEW themselves, as the co-executive vice presidents have often said how they want to stand on their own merit rather than always comparing themselves to NXT. That sentiment won't be helped by this commercial though, and just gives more fuel to AEW critics, as will the news that the promotion is also experiencing weak ticket sales for several upcoming episodes of Dynamite, with Wrestling Observer Radio noting that last Friday's advance sales for the recently announced January 29th episode in Cleveland, their debut in the Ohio market, was not strong and sales weren't going well. However, this could be because the ticket site was experiencing issues, with Cody tweeting a fan, "Keep trying, just a lot of folks hitting the site all at once, red ticket emoji," and John Moxley tweeting the venue, "Hey Heritage Bank Center, get your S-word together." It's such good S-word. The December 18th show in Corpus Christi, a historically terrible wrestling crowd for WWE shows, also has a large portion of its seats still available. You would think that AEW now having weekly TV on a major broadcaster would increase ticket sales and interest, but with their ratings down from their debut episode, pay-per-view buys of Full Gear being the same as All Out, and now the weak ticket sales, it appears TV isn't the great wrestling savior it was always considered to be. That might have worked in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but viewing habits are enormously different now. You want to look at something new, something fresh, something exciting to truly grow, like pay-per-view. As boxing and UFC have proved, traditional pay-per-view isn't dead. With record numbers being set for big fights in recent years, people will pay up to $100 for a show, you just have to give them a reason to. AEW's strategy counts on them doing just that, which they've now confirmed by signing a long-term pay-per-view output deal with video on demand and pay-per-view distributor In Demand. The press release confirms the 4 pay-per-view a year schedule that AEW have hinted at before, detailing a minimum of 1 pay-per-view event per quarter through June 2021. We have yet to hear what the next AEW pay-per-view will be, but it's speculated to be around February time, with Triple or Nothing in May, All Out again in August, and Fuller Gear in November. A top NXT star has refused to move to the main roster, and some major WWE plans have been leaked. Click the videos on the right to learn more, and check out our brand new merch by clicking the little lorry down there. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.